Video opens with dramatic, slow-motion shots of a CGI Titanic sailing across the ocean. The music is somber and grand. Narrator **, welcome back to Facts Repo, your home for the hidden truths behind the stories you think you know. If you enjoy uncovering history's most fascinating secrets, be sure to subscribe and join our community of truth seekers. Cut to archival photos of the Titanic, then a slow zoom on a specific part of the hull. For over a century, the story of the Titanic has been frozen in time, a chilling tale of an iceberg, a moment of impact, and a tragedy that unfolded in the icy North Atlantic. We've all seen the movies, we've all heard the accounts. A majestic ship, billed as unsinkable, meets its match against a colossal block of ice. But what if that wasn't the whole story? What if the iceberg wasn't the lone villain in this tragedy, but merely the final blow to a ship that was already critically wounded? New evidence, unearthed from long-forgotten photographs and expert analysis, suggests that the fate of the Titanic was sealed by a hidden danger, a secret fire burning deep within its core, days before it ever encountered the ice. Scene: CGI reconstruction of the Titanic's massive boiler rooms. The camera pans across the huge coal bunkers. To understand this, we need to go back before the champagne bottles were popped, before the passengers waved their goodbyes. We need to go to Belfast, where the Titanic was constructed, and then to Southampton, its port of departure. Deep in the ship's belly, next to Boiler Room 6, was a 3-story high coal bunker, known as Coal Bunker Number 6. This enormous space held thousands of tons of coal, the very fuel that powered the ship of dreams. But coal, when stored in such massive quantities, has a dangerous secret: it can spontaneously combust. A slow, smoldering fire can ignite deep within the pile, often going unnoticed for days, even weeks. Scene: a visual effect showing a hot spot glowing deep within the CGI coal bunker. The glow slowly intensifies. Journalist Senan Milani, who has dedicated years to studying the Titanic, uncovered photographic evidence that had been overlooked for decades. In a series of photos taken before the ship left the Belfast shipyard, a long, dark streak is visible on the ship's starboard hull, right where Coal Bunker Number 6 was located. Initially dismissed as a trick of the light, further analysis by engineers revealed this was no mere reflection. It was evidence of heat damage. This suggests a significant fire was burning inside the bunker, reaching temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, or 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. The steel hull, the very skin of the ship, was being cooked from the inside out. Scene: visuals showing steel being heated in a forge, turning cherry red and becoming soft. Why is this so critical? Steel, when subjected to such intense, prolonged heat, loses its structural integrity. It becomes brittle and weak, losing up to 75% of its strength. The Titanic's hull, in this specific area, was no longer the fortress of steel it was designed to be. It was compromised, weakened, and dangerously fragile. Despite this clear and present danger, the White Star Line, the company that owned the Titanic, was under immense pressure. The ship's maiden voyage had already been delayed, and its sister ship, the Olympic, had been involved in a collision, causing financial strain and a PR headache. Another delay or a public acknowledgement of a fire on board the brand-new Titanic would have been a commercial disaster. Scene: CGI shot showing the Titanic docked in Southampton. The ship is subtly turned to hide the damaged side from the dock. So, a decision was made. Instead of extinguishing the fire, which would have required emptying the massive coal bunker, a process that was time-consuming and would expose the problem to the world, they chose to manage it. The Titanic was deliberately docked in Southampton with its damaged starboard side facing away from the pier, hiding the telltale marks from the prying eyes of passengers and the press. The plan, it seems, was to control the fire at sea by having the stokers feed the burning coal directly into the furnaces. They hoped to burn their way out of the problem, gradually emptying the bunker and extinguishing the fire before they reached New York. It was a monumental gamble, a race against the fire smoldering in the ship's heart. Scene: transition from the dock to the open ocean. The Titanic is sailing at high speed. Cut to the engine room, showing stokers working tirelessly. This hidden fire also helps explain one of the other great mysteries of the Titanic, its incredible speed. Captain Smith was under orders, not necessarily to break any records, but to arrive in New York on schedule. However, the need to clear the burning coal from bunker number 6 meant the stokers were working at a furious pace, feeding the furnaces more and more fuel. This pushed the ship to near its maximum speed, hurtling through an ocean known to be littered with icebergs. The ship wasn't just sailing, it was fleeing the fire within. This arrogance and pressure from the top created a fatal combination: a ship traveling too fast, in a known danger zone, with a pre-existing structural weakness. Scene: the moment of impact. The iceberg is shown scraping along the starboard side of the ship, exactly where the fire was located. Now, let's reconstruct those final, fateful hours. On the night of April 14, 1912, the lookouts spotted the iceberg. The order was given to turn, but it was too late. The iceberg didn't gash a single, long hole in the ship, as is popularly believed. Instead, it bumped and scraped along the starboard side, popping rivets and causing a series of smaller breaches along the hull. And where did the most significant damage occur? Precisely where the hull had been weakened by the smoldering coal fire. The steel, no longer strong and resilient, but brittle and fragile from the heat, couldn't withstand the impact. It shattered instead of bending. The fire had turned the ship's armor into a fragile shell. Scene: animated graphic showing the Titanic's watertight compartments. Water is shown flooding the first 6 compartments, including the area of Boiler Room 6. The Titanic was designed with 16 supposedly watertight compartments. Its fatal design flaw was that the walls, or bulkheads, between these compartments didn't reach high enough. The ship could stay afloat if the first 4 compartments flooded. But the collision, catastrophically amplified by the weakened hull, breached the first 6. As water filled these forward compartments, the bow of the ship was pulled down. This caused the water to spill over the top of the bulkheads, one by one, like water overflowing an ice cube tray. The unsinkable design was a domino effect waiting to happen. The fire ensured that enough dominoes would fall. Scene: somber shots of lifeboats being launched, many of them half empty. Archival photos of survivors. The arrogance of the White Star Line didn't end with hiding the fire. The belief in the ship's invincibility led to the most tragic oversight of all: the lack of sufficient lifeboats. The Titanic legally carried more lifeboats than was required by the outdated British Board of Trade regulations, but they could only accommodate about half of the 2,200 people on board. The ensuing chaos, the women and children first policy that was inconsistently applied, and the reluctance of many to board the lifeboats, believing the ship was safer, all contributed to the horrific loss of life. But the core problem remained: even if the evacuation had been perfect, there were never enough boats for everyone. Scene: the Titanic's final plunge, recreated with dignity and respect. The lights go out, and the ship breaks apart. The iceberg was the trigger, but it was not the sole cause. It was the final, tragic chapter in a story of human error, corporate arrogance, and a series of overlooked factors. A fire, allowed to burn for days, critically weakened the hull. The pressure to maintain a schedule pushed the ship to dangerous speeds. A flawed design made the flooding unstoppable, and a shocking lack of lifeboats sealed the fate of over 1,500 souls. The story of the Titanic is not just a story of a ship versus an iceberg. It's a cautionary tale about how small, hidden problems, when ignored due to pride and financial pressure, can cascade into a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. The fire in its belly didn't just warm the steel, it forged the destiny of the RMS Titanic. Video ends with a final, lingering shot of a memorial to the Titanic victims. The music fades out. Narrator *, what do you think? Does this new evidence change how you see the Titanic disaster? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world, make sure you're subscribed to Facts Repo. Thanks for watching.